Over 200 experts have shared their secrets to a successful business. Join me, Rose Davidson, as I discover how these experts took their businesses to the next level.
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. Talking about all things business by business owners for business owners. Welcome to episode 242 with Rahul Bansode.
This is another very good question. So, see, the first fundamental thing, whether it's a small organization or a big organization, it doesn't matter. The leadership needs to understand that fundamentally things have changed in this world, in the digital platform, and we need to adapt. That's the first thing, very first thing, because without that acceptance, you cannot take your next step, right? Fundamentally, if you have to change your business, you have to think that, I need to leave the legacy which I have created for my organization through my customer base or my revenue or my portfolio or my products, have to move to this new digital. I have to accept that. Okay. The second thing is to create their own digital transformation strategy. Every organization is different. Every region of the world is different.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. My name's Rose Davidson. I'm your host and I'm from rosedavidson.com. And today my guest is Rahul Bansode and we're going to be talking about digital transformation. Now, Rahul is a digital transformation architect and a thought leader. He is an experienced professional with 20 plus years of experience in leading business transformation initiatives and information technology platform development. He specialises in core system modernization, solution architecture, subscription business model, robotic process automation, and adopting agile methodologies. My goodness, that is a mouthful to say. Welcome, Rahul, and thank you so much for joining me. And it's like still middle of the night for you.
Thank you, host, for having me. It's a pleasure to be talking to you.
And so organisations that might be thinking of adopting digital transformation, what does that actually mean?
So this is a very nice question to start off with. And I recently published a book on this particular topic. The title of the book is Digital Roadmap. It's available on Amazon. And so the word digital transformation, it's kind of a buzzword in the industry right now. Across the industry, across the globe, everybody are talking about it. So what it is all about? Over the period, what has happened is we initiated the computerization phase back in late 90s, I would say, or rather where it became more commercialized in the early 20th century. The computerization started off, okay, and people started developing their application, their systems on the system, and we started doing all the work on the computer. So in that phase, what has happened is the work which we were doing on manual paper based was modified to the computer world, okay, and that was the primary thing. So if you look at the banking, whatever was happening in the ledger books, it happened now on the online books. People used
Thank
to have
God for that. I used to hate doing manual books and keeping spreadsheets and writing checks and all those horrible things.
Yes, but if you look at the form, what it has changed right now, it's that manual has just digitized. So when you go to a bank book, or we used to call in India passbook, that has changed into an online banking thing. Okay, the banking concept more or less has remained the same. In the case of any office, the invoices which were in a paper format now is in a PDF format. Nothing had changed. But during this last 10 years, with the growth of the cloud computing, growth of the mobile computing, growth of the social media, okay, and the technology advancement which is happening. The computerization is going through a radical change right now, okay, and what that means is new technologies are coming in, and this is where we have to transform ourselves into this particular new world. Say, people are doing more e-commerce platform instead of visiting a store for buying something. So that e-commerce kind of thing has grown a lot. People are using mobile platform mostly for the social networking. Okay, that has grown up. So that is physically changing the behavior of the people, like you and me. See, we are talking doing this podcast over the internet. So a few years back, this was like nobody would have believed this. So this is what is called as the digital transformation, which is happening. It's more about the transformation, using the technology of the today to build the products and services of tomorrow. And in this phase, if the legacy I call them legacy the old organizations who have been doing the same business for generation, if they don't transform themselves, it's a high chance that they will become obsolete in the environment. People will not buy products and services from them. And that's the most important thing. Like, if the company wants to survive, they will have to transform themselves. So
I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. I mean, COVID has forced us all to go online. Yes. And this, online banking, online shopping, online everything is the new normal. And, moving forward, you're right, bricks and mortar places, unless they have a digital presence somewhere or digital technology within their business, I can't see them, being able to compete because, things will be too slow. And
yes, yeah. See, I'll give you a good analogy. Back in Australia, also, like, you still have banks, you still have branches, right? Now, let's take an example. What happens if a bank branch is closed for a day? What will happen? Nothing will happen.
Nothing.
The banks are normally closed, probably like half day on Saturdays or something, and Sundays they are actually closed. You cannot do anything. Okay. Does anything happen? No. But just imagine, even on Sundays, if the online banking is off.
God forbid.
Just imagine now. So what is important? Your online banking is important now, or your branch banking is important?
I think online banking is important, but only because I don't leave the house very much, and I prefer to do most things online. It's to me, it's convenient and it's easy, and So
this is what the transformation is about. We have slowly moved into this particular era. Without realizing it, that the physical branch which was there is not my preference now, or even if it is closed for 2 days or 3 days, it doesn't matter. But even on Sundays, my online banking has to be. So it's more about that transfer. And what is that online banking? It's a digital platform. So
well, I'm an early adopter. I'm an early adopter. I adopted technology, quite early on, when it was like in the late 90s, late 80s, I'm sorry, until I left my position in the mid 90s. And, like the internet was just being introduced into the public service in Australia for people to use the internet so they could talk, from one state to another state. And I loved it. I used to teach people how to use it because I just was so fascinated. And as soon as I got my retirement package, I went and bought a computer straight away. And my husband said, "What is that?" So I said, "Well, it's the new way to talk to people." Yeah, but it took me a while to get used to the social things like Facebook or whatever. I had to get my kids to teach me how to use that because I wasn't sort of in my zone of genius at the time, and now I can't live without it. It's like impossible.
That's how it is, and that is called as the behavior which has changed. That's the way we communicate now. That's the way the kids are going to communicate. The kids who are born in this particular age group, for them, internet is omnipresent. It's always there. They won't think of a generation where internet was not there. In fact, they would ask, like, how would you survive without an internet? That is the kind of question they would be asking us 5 years down the line. And this is the behavior change which is happening at a humanized level. And so if the organizations don't change themselves, they are going to be obsolete. And a good example you mentioned about COVID, like across the world, we were in the lockdown mode. Okay, shopping malls were closed, everything was closed, hospitals, gas stations, and restaurants were open. Just imagine if those small restaurants wouldn't have changed themselves for that delivery from Uber Eats, or I don't know what's there in Australia.
Yes, we've got Uber Eats here too.
Yeah. So if they would have not moved themselves into that or adopted that Uber Eats like platform, would they survive? They wouldn't have survived.
No.
And those people who could not adopt to the Uber Eats, they're out of business right now.
Right what I started the podcast for was because of the pandemic, and because a lot of bricks and mortar businesses didn't know how they could diversify and go online and take their products or their services online. So I just thought, well, I could talk to other business owners who actually use the online platforms, and they could tell them how they did it, and then they might get some ideas so that they can stay open. And it worked in some degree, so I'm happy about that. So that the plan was there, but now the podcast is getting into bigger and better things. So yeah, it's really exciting, and I'm loving it. I think it's just a wonderful way to meet new people and to learn about all the new things that are happening in the world that I wouldn't normally know about.
Sure.
So how can a business, I guess, if they want to diversify their business and take on the technology that is needed to keep themselves open and viable, how can they go about doing that, or how should they go about it?
So they can buy my book. I'm just joking. Yeah, this is another very good question. So see, the first fundamental thing, whether it's a small organization or a big organization, it doesn't matter. The leadership needs to understand that fundamentally things have changed in this world, in the digital platform, and we need to adapt. That's the first thing, very first thing, because without that acceptance, you cannot take your next step, right? Fundamentally, if you have to change your business, you have to think that, oh, I need to leave the legacy which I have created for my organization through my customer base or my revenue or my portfolio or my products, have to move to this new digital. I have to accept that. Okay. The second thing is to create their own digital transformation strategy. Every organization is different. Every region of the world is different. Every people of the world is different. So you cannot have a framework, set framework to build it, but you have to create your own strategy with respect to how to adapt to this. You will make mistakes, perfectly fine. Without mistakes, you will not learn. And then you adapt to this and take a first steps towards going through. There are various ways. The first thing is basically transforming your legacy old applications or softwares, what you're using, and moving towards a better software. Very simple. During the COVID or before COVID, not many people were transforming their Microsoft Office toolkit to Office 365. They were not doing for whatever reason.
Because it was too expensive, they thought. I love my 365. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. But COVID happened and people saw the benefit of cloud more indeed. So moving to those software as a service platforms, which is more cheaper and you get latest softwares, is one way of moving it. Okay. Before that, when we talk about digital transformation, normally people think about the word digital in the word synonyms to the technology, which is right. It's more about the transformation. It's more about transforming your process, what your business operational process are. It is more about transforming your people who have been working with you for 10, 15 years, and they have a mindset. Of course, because you're working in the same thing, you need to change that. So that is more important. And that technology is there just for you to adapt and build. So you can go with building your mobile applications if it permits, if it requires, but you can go through that particular channel. You can upgrade your online presence. You could start using your social networking platforms for communicating with your customers or your clients or advertisement instead of the other ways of doing it. As I mentioned, the cloud technology is there. You can start adapting those cloud technologies. If your business permits, you could move towards subscription business model. You can adapt those because that is a lot of people love about it. So you can use that. There is always like, when you are using a digital platform, at the end of the day, the digital platform creates some data, and data talks. Data will give you more insight about how your business is doing, what you're doing right, what you're not doing, and all those analytics. You could start analyzing and use those data in a better way. So these are some of the very high level. I've not gone in deeper. I've tried to be very broad because every business is different. But these are fundamental things which we could use to go into the direction. But the first fundamentalist thing is like accepting that digital transformation is happening. It's going to impact us, and then taking your first step with defining your goals and strategy around it.
I think that part of everyone's business strategy moving forward should include digital technology anyway as part of their business plan. Before it used to be, finance and marketing and all those sorts of things. And now I think there needs to be a new section inside the business plan to do with their digital technology that they're going to have to either adopt or improve along the way within their business and keep a track of that, because I don't think businesses just won't survive. They'll just be left behind and they'll be, like dinosaurs eventually.
Yes. See, if you, and I always give this example whenever I speak about it. See, the technology, or the business technology at least, was given to us by Microsoft with the various products. Like Apple was on one side, but Microsoft was on the other side. So all this revolution and digital transformation, which we saw in the late 90s and early 20s, was primarily because of Microsoft, because we started using PCs, we started using Office, we started using other platforms. But look what happened to Microsoft in 2010, 2011. They were losing their revenue, they were losing their business, they were losing the product was not to par with the generation, and they were actually losing money. They were actually people were hating Microsoft. If you look at the stories around 2010, 2011, 12, 13. And after that, the new CEO came in. So just imagine one of the largest organizations in this planet who created this digital platform for us was not adapting to the new technology, and they were sinking down. 2013 or 14, the new CEO Satya Nadella came in, and he started realizing this, and he transformed himself, moving towards the cloud, moving towards social platforming, moving towards taking better technology and changing the process and people and everything. And look what has happened. Now in 2021, it is one of the best company who is doing better than its core competitors now. So that organization also had to go through this transformation phase. So you can just imagine, like, it's not that big organization does not have to go through this. They also have to go through this. And Microsoft is the best example of it. So you can just relate this to any small shops or a small business. They also will have to adapt.
Yeah, Office 10 was one of the best innovations that Microsoft has come up with, because the others were, okay. XP was okay, but the ones sort of between that and Office 10 were rubbish, I thought, and not very functional. And now I can't wait for the new 11 to come out. I'm waiting for that with like bated breath.
True.
I want to see what things are going to happen with it. So, Rahul, your book, it's available on Amazon, and is it available in bookstores as well or not?
So bookstores, I'm working with the distributors right now. So it will be available in the stores also, at least in the US. I'm doing something in the in India also, because that's my home country. So in the US, I'm working with Ingram to initiate that process, and gradually I'll see how it will be available across the globe. So slowly and gradually. This is a self-published book, so I don't have a distributor, and so that's why I have to go a little bit slow in this process. But yes, it will be.
And what's the name of the book again?
The book name is Digital Roadmap.
Digital Roadmap. Okay, sounds good.
And what is it?
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, simple name, and it talks about why it is important for the organization to transform themselves, whether it is a small shop or to a big corporate. Everybody is going to get disrupted. So why it is important? What are the challenges they face? What are the opportunities which are available for the business, and how they can leverage these technologies to move towards transforming themselves. So this book talks about all these aspects.
Good. I'm glad, because yeah, it sounds like a book that needs to be read by the people that need the transformation in their business. So yeah.
Yes, and primarily what I saw, and one of the reasons for writing this book was most of the books, there are a lot of books in this genre, most of the books are targeted towards the CEO, CIO, and all the C-level folks, okay, which is rightly, because these people are the market, these people are the leaders who is going to do the transformation. But equally important is the line managers. Equally important is your VP, is your MD, is your all the people below the C-level is also important, because only your C-level cannot transform. Your people needs to transform also. So I made sure that this book is targeted toward these guys also, because that is important, because everybody is going to get impacted. So everybody should understand. So my focus was also to explain it to the larger audience that way.
Absolutely. Now, have you got any other books in progress, or are you going to take a break, or?
This was my first book. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. So during the COVID lockdown, I challenged myself, what do I do? Should I take up some technology, because I'm a technology guy, or should I take up this challenge of writing a book, which I have never done? I had no experience about it. So I said, okay, let me see if I can take up this challenge, because it was a huge task. I absolutely no idea about how to do and write and everything. So I took up this challenge. I said, let me see where I land with this. But fortunately, with God's grace, with the blessings from my parents and my family members and friends, I was able to publish this. I'm very happy about this journey.
Well done.
Publishing.
It's not easy to self-publish. It's quite hard. I've tried it, and it wasn't a process that I liked a great deal. So, I think if and when I ever write my book, I will put it through to a publisher and get them to do all the hard work, and I'll just write it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Rahul, do you have any last comments to our listeners today that you might like to, some wisdom or some point or something that you'd like to share?
Yes, if I have to share, I'm not a very big guy to share my wisdom or anything of that sort, but what this book has helped me to understand is, like, if you have a passion, take it up and put your whole heart and soul in it and drive it out. It will always, at the end of the day, you might have to work hard to achieve it, but when you achieve it, the feeling is totally different. You get a feeling that, oh, you have achieved that. So that's most important. The other thing which in this same words, what I would say is, like, don't worry about failure. It can happen, but you learn a lot out of it. When I took this up, I was not taking primarily this particular assignment, this huge assignment, because of the failure. Like, what if I fail? What if I fail? But less did I know that if I don't attempt, then actually I'm failing. Because by attempting this writing the book and failure, still I'm going to get the knowledge, still I'm going to get that experience. So I'm gaining something, right? If I don't attempt it, that is the real failure. So this actually helped me. And it is now helping me in doing whatever I want to do. So whenever I start something or reading an article, sometimes I feel it bored to complete that. I said, okay, let's complete it. Complete it, you'll feel satisfied.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is like, take a plunge, but don't worry about the failures. You will gain some insight about it. So you will learn from it for sure. So
Absolutely.
That would be my advice, basically.
That's great advice. Absolutely. Rahul, if people want to work with you, where can they find you?
Primarily, I'm a lot of active on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the platform where you'll always see me publishing some articles or talking or sharing some thoughts around my book or the digital transformation concept. So that's the one platform which I use. I don't use, though I have written about digital roadmap, digital transformation, but I don't use Facebook or any other Instagram or any other thing.
Facebook's for old people anyway, they reckon. So
yeah, for me it is like nuisance, like childish. So it's better to be just limiting yourself a little bit.
Courses for courses, that's what I say.
Yeah.
All right, Rahul.
I'll be actively. You can find me on LinkedIn, where I'm very much active on LinkedIn. You can search me, and definitely you'll find
Perfect. Me. All right. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I'll let you go back to bed now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for
your time.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Talking with the experts.